expense tracker application. So what we need to do is let's jump to the code straight away and let's include a model here. We will be using Bootstrap 5 model. Okay, I've included the Bootstrap 5 model here. You can see the model, and this will display the view data like the ID, description, amount, and date. So on click of the view button, we will go to the AJAX call and then go to the controller and retrieve the data. Okay, let's add a view button here. Let's update the view button to take the data. We'll pass a transaction ID to the view button. So we'll just replace this with this. So what would happen is th, we are using themeleaf attribute and sending the transaction ID data. Okay, now let's include the jQuery code. Okay, after script.js, let's include this code here. So in this code, what happens is we on the click of view transaction class, we get transaction ID attribute, and then we perform a AJAX call. So the AJAX call is transactions view. So this is the method that will be called, okay, when we do the AJAX call, and it will be a get method. Okay, and then the data will be populated into the model. So let's go ahead and create that function in the transactions controller. Okay, we'll paste this function here and I will explain the function. So what will happen here is we are going to the view layout, we are going to the view route and passing on the ID, that is the transaction ID. Then the response body is used to pass, we need to send the data in the JSON format, hence we use this response body. So let's import this response entity class and get transaction by ID. So we need to create this method in the transaction service. Okay, let's go to the folder structure and go to transaction service and let's include this method here. So get transaction ID will go to the transaction repository that we created and it will find by ID. Okay, let's save this code. Let's also save the transaction code. Okay, let's also save the controller code. So we have used the exec logic to pass the data and provide it to the view. So let's rerun the application and see if we are getting any errors. Okay, the transaction page is, we have reloaded the transaction page. Now let's click on view and we can see the transaction details getting displayed here. We could also pass the transaction type here. So let's go ahead and pass the transaction type as well. So if I go to the transactions here, and then if I go to this after transaction amount, we'll put a transaction type here. Of course, we'll have to add another element. And let's see what is the column name here that we gave. The column name will be transaction type. So we'll include this here in the transactions. So data of transaction type. Okay, and we will include it here in the model. So after this p tag, we should include transaction type. Transaction type will be this value here. So the ID will be this. So this would display the transaction type as well. So let's save this and reload the application. So if I reload this page here and if I click on view and we get the transaction type as expense. Okay, we click on view here, we get the transaction type as expense. So this is how the AJAX calls are made using Java Spring Boot theme leaf application, and the view is created.